Jamie.
I'm Sarah.
Together we are the Fossils Galore Team Leaders.
Today we are off to a Jurassic limestone quarry in Cambridgeshire.
Right, we have arrived at the site and we're getting ourselves ready. So the limestone at this site dates back 170 million years. So this is a view at the quarry as we're walking through. Quite a big site as well. So imagine the time back 170 million years ago in the Jurassic period. It would have been a bit like a tropical sea with lots of corals, sponges, and teeming with life. So you can see me here just walking down the slope, just having a good look around. Okay, so this is an interesting layer. It's a calcite formation which is only found at this part of the site. Now as you can see, it's very brittle. Now when you look close up at the crystal itself, you can see it's made up of lots of interlocking crystals of calcite. So I've also nicknamed this one coned calcite. So it's quite an interesting formation. Across the site we do come across lots of calcite voids, so possibly old corals which have mineralised. And here is a predecessor to the well-known Devil's Toenail. So you can see myself walking up to this interesting fault. So you can see the limestone in front of me where it's scraped up against the rest of the limestone layer that it was originally in. And you can see how vast this fault is. Right, and now we have a ammonite, a Phyllostris, which is 165 million years old. Now we have a chance to walk along a Jurassic fault, so along the higher side of the fault, so walking along the limestone in search for gypsum crystals. As you can see, there's lots of gypsum crystals about, so we'll keep on looking through and see what else we can find. So here we have a whole layer of gypsum crystals. And even more gypsum crystals. So as you can see, it's quite a common crystal in this location. So I'll keep on looking around using the geological hammer to prise the specimens up. And as you can see, we've got a real big piece, a nice big display piece. And here we go. I've come across a piece of coprolite, so a bit of marine reptile poo. So now to chip it out, bring it back to the centre to analyse. is quite a thick calcite layer. And here is a bivalve just sticking out of the limestone. So now here's a chance to see what lies ahead with the quarry excavations at this site. So we're going to lift round in one of the 4x4s to see what there is. And what we have here is a Jurassic exposure. So imagine yourselves going back 165 million years ago, and this would have been a river estuary.
Okay, so we've just come back from the Cambridgeshire dig, and there's a few things I just want to sort of clear up. Slick insides. What does that mean?
Okay, so that's where there's scrape marks on the side of the limestone, where the limestone has been pushed up from its natural layer, and that's what we call slick insides.
Now, the rock looked easier to dig in this video than in previous videos. Can you explain why that is?
Okay, so the site that we went to the older parts of that site. So it's had a lot of time to weather and for the rock to expand slightly. So we wanted to see if there's any new things turning up. So all the limestone, because it's weathered, has gone a lot softer. So it's a lot easier to excavate.
You said about minerals there. In the video, when you got them out, they're pretty dirty. You've cleaned a few of them up,
Yep.
and you've got them here now. If you'd like to go through it with us.
Okay, so we've got some gypsum crystals here, so you can see where they've filled in a void in the rock layer itself, and you can see where the crystals are radiating outwards.
Now, yeah, you can see the lines. Is that like the rings of a tree? Does that show their age?
Not exactly age, it's just showing where it's growing into the voids of the rock. Okay, and this is the remnants of the big one that we discovered, so you can see it's broken into a few pieces. It's quite sparkly. It's an interesting formation of gypsum. So you can see where it's radiating outwards. So this would have been laying on top of the limestone. We would have had the clay on top, and this has filled in the void. And you can see where it's trying to fill in the rest of the gaps there as well.
And it looks like there's something else on the other side.
Yep, so on this side we've got a form of calcite, so it's starting to form like stalactites and that. So as water drips through, it forms all these little calcite sort of crystals.
Brilliant. Now, you also did find some fossils while you were there. You got one.
Yeah, so this is the only one that we've got cleaned up so far. So this is what we call a bivalve. So we've got one side and then we've got another side here. And they'd have this little hinge area where the shells are joined together, a bit like a cockle that you find on the beach today. And here is another fossil that we found on the day. So this is a sea urchin, which is about 170 million years old. And here is another bivalve, so another shellfish. It is 170 million years old. And one of the many vertebrate finds, a Lepidotes fish tooth.
Absolutely brilliant. Now, a little bit later on in the video, you shown us an area that you're yet to dig. There are some lines going down the cliff face.
Yep.
Are they to do with fossils?
Not really to do with fossils. It shows you how they're found in one way. So what those lines are where the quarry diggers are actually scraping the digger bucket down the cliff face to take all the clay and shale out. So sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. So if it wasn't for the diggers that were digging those cliff faces, we wouldn't come across the fossils.
Have the diggers ever sort of broke fossils?
Yeah, so most of the time they do hit the fossils and sometimes they break, but like I say, if it wasn't for the diggers, we wouldn't be coming across the fossils on our visits.
You said in the video that it was the Jurassic period. Now, what was it like then? What was the area like during that time?
Okay, so in that rock layer that you can see at the end of the video, that was an old river estuary. So just imagine like river deltas dotted about. You would have had like swampy areas. Now, imagine dinosaurs trying to cross those rivers now at the time. Some were getting stuck, some were getting washed out to sea at the time. So that's why we're coming across their remains. And very rarely we do come across dinosaur footprints in the very top of that cliff face. So we're going to keep an eye out for those. Now the sort of dinosaurs that we would have had roaming about then was Cetiosaurus, which was a long-necked dinosaur, so dated back 170 million years. And we'd also have Megalosaurus as well.
Now you said it was a river delta, so does that mean there's a heightened chance of finding fish and maybe even sort of dinosaurs that have got into trouble in the water and sort of, or would the running water have washed it all away?
So as things were being washed down the rivers, some animals would have got caught up on a rock, so their skeletons will remain there as such. So with fish, it would have been teeming with fish. So that's something that we need to keep an eye out for as well. So what we have found on that site previously is there was an old coral reef there, so we're finding lots of sea urchins and other animals that would have been living, like sponges as well, living on that coral reef.
Sounds really exciting. It's worth sticking with us for future videos when you go back to the site.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. You just never know what you're going to discover underneath your feet.
Hello Sarah. Now, in this video, compared to previous videos, you found a lot more crystals. Now, was that intended? Did you know that this site had more crystals than fossils, or was that just the luck of the draw?
Okay, so we know this site is known for both your crystals and your fossils. It just depends on where you hunt in the quarry. So this time we went to an area that's full of the calcite, and we did find the odd fossils while we were there, but it was primarily for the calcite crystals.
Okay, now, because you knew there were more crystals, did you bring specific tools for that?
No, we tend to take all our tools because obviously you never know what you are going to find when you start digging, so in case we find a fossil.
We've got a selection of tools in front of us. If you'd like to talk us through what each one does, that'd be fantastic. So shall we start off with the chisel?
Yep, so obviously with us a chisel is quite an important tool because as you probably saw in previous videos, when the rock's really, really hard, this is the tool we turn to. So they're brilliant just to get in the layers you see within the rocks. You can get this bit in, get your heavy hammers to give you a bit of power, and then you can break those layers down and see what's inside.
Fantastic. You pointed out to the pick, like you say, hammer as well.
Yes.
Multitasking.
It is. It's what we call our geological hammer. This one is Jamie's. I've got a slightly more lightweight one. This is a heavier version of mine. And it's got the pick on one end that we can use a little bit like a chisel when we don't need all the work of a chisel. We can stick the pick in, and of course the hammer to help us bash the chisel into the rocks.
Do these go blunt? Do you need to buy new ones, or do you sharpen them?
We sharpen them. So this is a brilliant version of Jamie sharpening because this used to have a really big pick on it, and this is all the years of Jamie sharpening it down as it gets blunt. So yes.
And finally, trowel. What do you use the trowel for?
Okay, so when we do dig in our softer stuff like your clay, your shingle, that sort of thing, where we don't need our heavier tools, then we use our trowel. So again, it's got the pointed end that we can get into the layers and break the rocks open with, or if it's just in clay, we can just use it to dig up different crystals and things.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you for watching Discovering Fossils Galore. If you'd like to see more episodes, please subscribe.